It is Star Trek. Voyager's turn for a glorious comeback after the Next Generation's cast and the Enterprise D had their big nostalgic moment in 2023. Star Trek. Picard didn't start as a feel-good tribute to Jean-Luc Picard's heyday, but the spin-off certainly reached that point in Season 3. After finally reassembling the main cast of the Next Generation, the crew went into battle, slightly wearier than before, on a secretly restored Enterprise D. It was an unapologetic throwback designed to rekindle memories of a bygone era. By any measure, that goal was achieved. Star Trek. Voyager celebrates its 30th anniversary in 2025. And despite never hitting the same mainstream heights as the Next Generation, Voyager and its crew reserve a special place in fans' hearts. Modern Star Trek rarely turns down an opportunity to reference, or indeed, repeat, the past. But such tributes have largely been restricted to the original series and the Next Generation thus far. While not immediately clear how or when it could happen, Star Trek. Voyager's cast needs its own The Last Generation moment sooner or later. During its era, Star Trek. Voyager never quite lived up to its predecessors. Deep Space Nine had been deliberately engineered as an alternative Star Trek show, but Voyager was the linear successor to the original series and the Next Generation. After a bumpy couple of seasons, the Next Generation established itself as arguably the franchise's crowning achievement. But Voyager had no such luck, landing somewhere in the middle of most lists ranking Star Trek's best shows. Having said that, Star Trek. Voyager is still being discussed and embraced 30 years down the line from its premiere. And not many TV shows can put that on their resume. Voyager's strengths may have been somewhat overshadowed by the pressure of living up to the Next Generation at the time. But hindsight allows Captain Janeway and her crew to be assessed on their own merits, of which there are many. Janeway herself stands shoulder to shoulder with Kirk and Picard. The Delta Quadrant concept still feels bravely ambitious 3 decades later, and rewatching Voyager's 7 seasons provides a consistently enjoyable experience. Voyager's positive legacy is visible in how much joy more recent character returns have brought. Kate Mulgrew and Robert Beltran's roles were a big reason behind the popularity of Star Trek. Prodigy, 7 of 9 central role in Star Trek. Picard led to calls for her own spin-off as captain of the Enterprise G, and Robert Picardo's return is one of the most exciting things about Star Trek's upcoming Starfleet Academy series. The best way to honor Star Trek, Voyager's crucial place in franchise history, would be with a scene similar to what the Enterprise D's crew received in Star Trek, Picard's series finale, The Last Generation, where Voyager's cast reunited alongside their ship for one last hurrah. Granted, the concept isn't particularly original at this point, with both Kirk and Picard leading their crews on similar jaunts previously. But Voyager might be the last Star Trek series actually able to pull off such an epic explosion of nostalgia. Being set on a space station makes Deep Space Nine immediately unsuited for a scene in the vein of the Enterprise D swan song. The overall darker tone of Sisko's show also feels out of sync with a feel-good, getting the band back together celebration. And Sisko actor Avery Brooks continues to show no interest in returning to Star Trek. Meanwhile, Star Trek Enterprise lacks the status and reputation to warrant a high-profile reunion, although that may change after a couple more decades fly by.